Long ago, in a peaceful village surrounded by green hills and fertile farmlands, there stood a forest that no one dared to enter. The people called it the Forest of Whispers. From childhood, every son and daughter of the village grew up hearing the same warning. Never cross the ancient stone at the edge of the forest. Never follow the voices that call your name. And above all, never enter after sunset. No one questioned these rules anymore. They had existed long before the oldest elder was born. The villagers believed that their ancestors protected the land, but only as long as the people respected the boundaries that had been set generations ago. Among the villagers lived a young man named Kofi. Kofi was 22 years old, hardworking, strong, and filled with curiosity. Unlike everyone else, he hated living in fear of things he had never seen. Whenever the elders gathered around the evening fire to tell stories about the forest, Kofi would quietly shake his head. He believed that people used old legends to control the younger generation. His mother often warned him, "My son, wisdom is not only knowing what to do. It is also knowing what not to do." But Kofi would smile and reply, "Mother, how can we fear a place simply because our grandfathers feared it?" The old woman never argued. Instead, she would look toward the dark trees in the distance and whisper, "Some secrets remain alive because they protect us." One dry season, the village suffered terribly. The rivers became smaller. The crops began to wither. The hunters returned with empty hands. People prayed to their ancestors for rain, but the skies remained silent. Then one evening, during a meeting beneath the great baobab tree, the village elder spoke. "Our forefathers once told us that deep inside the forbidden forest lies the spring of life. But no one has entered that place for generations. The journey is dangerous, and the spirits do not welcome strangers." The villagers lowered their heads. Nobody volunteered. Nobody even spoke. But Kofi saw something different. He saw an opportunity. That night, as the village slept, he made his decision. If the spring of life truly existed, he would find it. He would save the village and prove that fear had blinded everyone for years. Before dawn, Kofi packed water, dried food, and his father's old hunting knife. His mother saw him preparing to leave. Her face turned pale. "Tell me you are not going there." Kofi avoided her eyes. "I must know the truth." Tears gathered in her eyes. "My son, not every battle must be fought. Some doors remain closed for a reason." But Kofi embraced her. "I will return before nightfall. You'll see. There is nothing to fear." With heavy footsteps, his mother watched him disappear into the morning mist. The ancient stone stood at the edge of the forest, covered in moss and strange markings. For the first time in his life, Kofi stepped beyond it. The forest immediately felt different. The air was cooler. The sounds of birds disappeared. Even the wind seemed unwilling to move between the trees. At first, Kofi walked confidently. Hours passed. The deeper he went, the stranger everything became. The trees grew taller than anything he had ever imagined. Roots twisted across the ground like giant serpents. Then he heard it. A soft voice. "Kofi." He stopped. His heart skipped. It sounded exactly like his mother. He turned around. Nothing. Only endless trees. He remembered the old warning. Never follow the voices. He shook his head and continued walking. But the voices returned. This time, they came from different directions. Friends. Neighbors. People he recognized. All calling his name. The sound was gentle, almost inviting. For the first time, fear touched his heart. As the sun moved higher, Kofi reached the clearing. In the center stood an enormous tree unlike any other. Its trunk was wider than an entire house. Ancient symbols covered its bark. And beneath it flowed a small crystal spring. The spring of life. The stories were true. Joy filled his heart. He rushed toward the water. But before he could touch it, an old woman appeared. No footsteps. No sound. One moment she wasn't there. The next, she stood beside a tree. Her white hair reached her waist. Her eyes carried the weight of centuries. Kofi stepped back. "Who are you?" The old woman spoke softly. "I have watched this forest since your ancestors first settled these lands." Kofi tightened his grip on his knife. "Are you a spirit?" She smiled. "Does it matter?" Silence settled between them. Then she asked, "Why have you come?" Kofi explained the suffering of his village. The dying crops. The lack of rain. The hunger of the people. He pointed toward the spring. "I only want to take water home and save my family." The old woman listened patiently. Then she said, "The spring has never belonged to humans. It belongs to balance. Those who seek it for selfish reasons lose everything." Kofi protested. "But I am not selfish. I want to help everyone." The woman nodded. "Good intentions alone are not enough. The forest protects those who respect its wisdom." She pointed toward the village beyond the mountains. "Your people once understood that nature gives life, but it must also be honored." Over time, they remembered the fear but forgot the lesson. Kofi remained silent. The old woman continued. "Rain does not come only from prayers. It comes from caring for the land, protecting the rivers, and living in gratitude." Suddenly, Kofi remembered something. Years ago, villagers had cut down many trees near the river to build new homes. The riverbanks weakened. The water level slowly dropped. No one had connected those actions to their present suffering. The problem had never been a curse. It had been neglect. Tears filled Kofi's eyes. All his life, he had mocked the traditions of his people. Yet he had never tried to understand the wisdom behind them. The old woman knelt beside the spring. She filled a small calabash with water and handed it to him. "Take this home. It will help your people for now." Kofi accepted it carefully. "But remember this." Her voice grew deeper. "The true gift is not the water. It is the knowledge you carry back." The forest suddenly became brighter. The strange voices disappeared. Birds began singing once more. And when Kofi turned to thank the old woman, she was gone. Only the great tree remained. He hurried back toward the village. This time, the path seemed shorter. As evening approached, he crossed the ancient stone once again. The villagers gathered around him in disbelief. His mother ran forward and embraced him, crying tears of relief. That night, the water from the calabash was shared among the people. The elders listened carefully as Kofi told everything he had seen and learned. The next morning, the entire village began working together. They planted new trees. They protected the riverbanks. They stopped taking more from the land than they truly needed. They honored the old traditions, not out of fear, but out of understanding. Months later, the rains returned. The rivers filled once again. The farms became green. Laughter returned to the village. And from that day forward, the story of the forbidden forest was told differently. The elders no longer said, "Stay away because the spirits will punish you." Instead, they taught, "Respect the wisdom of those who came before you, and never forget that nature remembers how we treat her." As for Kofi, he became one of the village's greatest teachers. He learned that courage is not about proving everyone wrong. Sometimes, true courage means listening, learning, and accepting that ancient traditions often carry truth deeper than our own understanding. And so, the forest of Whisper remained untouched, not because people feared it, but because they finally understood why it had always deserved their respect.